This is about Dragon mostly, why he wants to destroy specifically the celestial dragons, not marines. Okay, so there are many theories existing about Monkey D. Dragon and his past. Him being a marine or Cypher Paul agent. This theory is more to maybe look at it in a different way. Maybe his time with CP or as a marine wasn't what caused him to revolt. Well, first off, I do not think that Dragon is a marine. Just because no one really was aware of his existence in the past Reverie, when in Alabasta Saga we had that mini Reverie flashback. By Wapol's reaction, Dragon was unknown. And they don't treat him as the same level of threat if an admiral or vice admiral was to drop out of the Marines. Like how Joe dropping it was when Aokiji dropped out. And not like X-Drake, who was a former rear admiral that Kizaru knew a lot about. So how come a rear admiral is known well but someone of Dragon's power, who obviously would be more powerful than a rear admiral? At least he had to be at that high of a rank in order to gain the knowledge to be able to revolt against the celestial dragons. So most likely from this deduction then Dragon wasn't a marine. But there's also the idea he was a former Cypher Paul agent, which has even more knowledge than marines since he works as an assassin, wears mysterious robes and is able to approach silently behind people. I won't deny the theories that say Dragon might be a former CP agent, and after seeing the darkness of the celestial dragons and world government he decided he can't stay and must destroy them. Since it's logical, and points to that. But I think there might be an alternate route. No CP agent has ever dropped out. They are all trained to turn the other eye to the darkness of world government and celestial dragons and to fight dirty as assassins. How come Dragon was the only one to simply not turn the other cheek? We know that they take kids and raise them to know only this style of life, like they did with CP9. They are brainwashed at that age, so how come Dragon was able to not be brainwashed? What if Dragon is revolting specifically against the celestial dragons because of his heritage? We all know Dragon is a D. Just like Luffy, Roger, Garp, Law, Ace, Blackbeard, the D family is the natural enemy of the world. They are despised and hated among everyone. But the name is inherited, secretly, among generations. But why secretly? Why are they the enemy? So the D family has a lot of connections to the ancient kingdom, Clover talks about. The ancient kingdom had an enemy, and that's why they passed their information down in history on poneglyphs, the unbreakable stone. And the world government has done everything in their power to make the ancient kingdom be forgotten, while the D name is being passed down secretly. Of course, the ancient kingdom was the world government's enemy, since Clover heavily implied that ancient kingdom was destroyed and world government was established afterwards, and the ancient kingdom obviously had an enemy. And the ancient kingdom was able to boast on about their great powers, and every D we meet as someone very powerful and important. Gold D. Roger, Pirate King. Rox D. Exabek, most dangerous pirate before the rise of Gold D. Roger. Marshall D. Teach, most dangerous pirate right now. Monkey D. Garp, the Marines hero. Monkey D. Dragon, the most dangerous criminal. Monkey D. Luffy, has the voice of all things and power to make everyone his ally. Podgers D. Ace, Pirate King's son. Whitebeard's commander. Podgers D. Rogue, was able to hold a baby in her for 20 months. Jaguar D. Saul, the black sheep but a man with the biggest heart and compassion in the family. Trafalgar D. Waterlaw, supernova and a great doctor. Has a devil fruit to create immortality. So it most likely means that the rulers or kings of the great ancient kingdom was in fact the D family. They are a family of royalty, and could possibly be the ones that ruled the entire world. But many smaller countries were tired of them controlling everything, and so they decided to revolt and destroy them completely, if they weren't so powerful and had such big influence on the world. Then the world government had no reason to destroy them. They should have allied with them, but because they ruled the world, they needed to destroy them so they can take the D's throne. And the reason the world government, after defeating them, established their existence was so they can take their place as the rulers of the world. And they wiped out their existence from history because the ancient kingdom is the true world nobles and kings of the world, and if that knowledge was known, the celestial dragons will no longer be respected, but rather everyone would want to kill them to make room for the D family. That's where dragon comes in. Dragon is, as we know, AD. He is considered the most dangerous criminal in the world and is feared by the world government, just how Roger was. We can tell by everyone's reaction in Marineford when discovering Luffy's father was Dragon. So maybe, Dragon, just like the Roger pirates, has learned the true history of the world. Since it wouldn't be hard to believe that someone in those 800 years after the Void Century was able to learn the truth other than Roger. That's why Dragon is more notorious than Whitebeard himself, who was Roger's rival and was just as strong as him. The only reason Roger was more famous and feared was only because the knowledge Roger had about the true history of the world. And that also might be the case with Dragon. And that's why he's just as notorious as Roger was, and even more so than Whitebeard. So Dragon realized how greedy and evil the world government truly is and how they overtook his ancestors' home and throne. Therefore he is creating his own revolutionary army just as they did in the past, to take back his heritage. And that's the reason behind Dragon's army. To take back the world from the world government, since they took it from the D family and have been abusing their power. And that's what's behind his dangerous ideals, and is why he's the government's most notorious criminal. And that also makes the famous line, D will cause a storm again. Dragon himself is trying to be that storm himself.